In a glittering penthouse high above Fifth Avenue, where the air is rarefied and the furniture is gilded, lived a young woman named Ivanka. Not to be confused with anyone else, Ivanka was her own person, mostly. Her golden hair was definitely not from a bottle. Her business acumen was absolutely self-made, and her accent was authentically flexible. Every morning, Ivanka would descend from her crystal palace in heels that cost more than most people's monthly rent. She'd stride past the doorman, Vladimir, who always seemed to be on his phone, speaking rapid-fire Russian while pretending to check the mail. "Good morning, Vladimir. Any packages for the penthouse?"
No, Miss Ivinka. But there is very interesting news about polling numbers in swing states. Weather forecast. Very sunny.
Ivanka's office was exactly what you'd expect if Louis XIV had discovered rose gold and Instagram filters. Her desk, carved from a single block of Carrara marble, bore a nameplate reading Executive Vice President of Things That Sound Important. But Ivanka had a secret. Behind her carefully curated public image, behind the trademarked lifestyle brand and the suspiciously successful perfume line called Complicit, she harbored a growing sense of doubt about her family's empire. It had started during one of those mandatory family dinners where everyone sat around a table long enough to host the Last Supper, while her father regaled them with tales of his latest perfect phone call or how he had single-handedly invented the concept of buildings. "Daddy, don't you think maybe we should consider that the prosecutors might have a point about..."
Fake news. Nobody knows more about points than me. I have the best points. Everyone says so.
As she sat through another meeting about launching a new line of luxury border walls. They're like regular walls, but with better genetics. Ivanka found herself doodling little prison bars in her notebook. During her contemplative walks in Central Park, always followed at a discreet distance by Secret Service agents and what appeared to be several Eastern European men in tracksuits, Ivanka wondered about her place in history. Would she be remembered as more than just a footnote in a very strange chapter of American politics? Would her children ever forgive her for naming them after luxury hotel chains? At high society gatherings, Ivanka maintained her carefully crafted image. She'd glide through rooms full of Manhattan's elite, air-kissing socialites while discussing her latest initiative, Empower Women to Empower Women to Empower Women, trademark pending. It's about empowerment for women who want to be empowered by other women who are empowered. But reality had a way of intruding on Ivanka's carefully constructed world. As she walked down another marble corridor, this time in a courthouse, she couldn't help but notice how the family's legal team had grown from a small cohort to something resembling a medium-sized law school.
Remember, if anyone asks about the documents in the basement, just say you thought they were old takeout menus.
In her private moments, Ivanka would retreat to her meditation room, formerly a gold vault, now painted in soothing shades of platinum. As the headlines grew more dramatic and the legal noose tightened, Ivanka found herself at a crossroads. Should she continue being the perfect corporate daughter, or should she finally admit that maybe, just maybe, some laws actually applied to her family?
Miss Ivanka, would you like to tell us what really happened with those property valuations?
Well, it's a very complicated situation. Some might say the most complicated situation ever. Nobody knows more about complicated situations than we do. In her personal diary, soon to be subpoenaed, Ivanka wrote, "Sometimes I wonder if there's more to life than gold-plating everything and claiming everything is the biggest and best ever. Maybe there's value in simple truth." As the sun set over Manhattan, casting long shadows between the skyscrapers, Ivanka stood at her window contemplating her future. The empire her family had built was showing cracks, and no amount of gold spray paint could cover them anymore. Being Ivanka wasn't easy, but someone had to do it. Or at least, that's what she kept telling herself as she practiced her testimony in the mirror. trying to perfect that particular mix of selective memory and strategic forgetfulness that had become the family's trademark. I don't recall. That's not what happened. It was a long time ago. The story of Ivanka wasn't over, but perhaps the next chapter wouldn't be written in gold leaf, but rather in the stark black and white of court transcripts. And maybe, just maybe, that wouldn't be such a bad thing after all.